Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name is Mike Amos. His name is Bill Rice Jr. as we start a Tuesday on our show, a long Monday and a Tuesday as we get ready for another big hot day of football practice everywhere.
Yeah, and I always think, thank goodness it's not me. As much as I love football, I always say, thank goodness I'm not one of those kids out there in that hot weather.
And when you do ride by there and you see the kids, the football players, the cheerleaders, the band members, and
Band's out there again.
Troy University's band already out there too. And they practice so hard to get ready for the coming football season, and we should salute them for what they do because, man, it is hot. And but it's football season, and you can smell it in the air. Yeah, I was out there last night, and let me tell you what happened.
Okay.
Troy was going to practice at 4 o'clock.
Yep.
All right, they got lightning. They got some overcast skies, and they got lightning everywhere. Well, they held up for 30 minutes with the lightning, and finally, when the 30 minutes went by, they had another 30 minutes. So he said, well, we'll go ahead and eat dinner, and so we'll come back here at 7 o'clock. Well, at 7 o'clock, lightning struck again, so they had to wait 30 minutes. And they waited 30 minutes. The players were inside, and coaches were everywhere pretty much. And after 30 minutes, they came back out. The whole team came back out, 125 strong. And here comes the lightning one more time. And this time he just said, y'all go on in. And no practice yesterday because of lightning. And, Alabama doesn't worry about this, and Auburn doesn't worry about this because they have indoor facilities to practice in. And that is one of the chief reasons why a major college program needs to have a indoor facility. Don't you agree? Or you could be out there 10 days without 5 practices,
Yeah, but another thing is that this is an arbitrary rule that they have to follow. It's like the COVID testing rules. The rule is crazy. I mean, now that you told that story, I think about the last couple of years, all the games, football games that have been postponed for hours, and then they cut back to the game and the weather looks fine. But they say, oh, there was a lightning strike somewhere 20 miles off.
That's right.
And then we got to start the clock over again.
I think it's 15 miles off.
I don't think there's any
8 miles off.
I don't think there's any common sense on the rule. I mean, I heard 2 lightning strikes all day yesterday, but I would say wait 15 minutes after there's no lightning, and if look at the sky and the sky looks fine, go out there and practice.
But right now they are told that it's a 30-minute wait between lightning strikes, and again, a new facility, indoor facility, probably is one of the next things on Troy's list.
Well, I need one.
But let me tell you though, you look at them and look at all the other programs other than the large programs. It seems like the large programs are the only people that can afford an indoor facility.
Some high schools have them though.
But then Charles Henson, of course, has one that's just 50 or 60 yards long, and that'd
be better than nothing.
Yeah,
if I had one 50 or 60 yards long, I'd at least get the first team out there and run some reps.
But those days of going into the gymnasium, I reckon, are gone,
That's what we did. We would go in the gymnasium, and you do walkthroughs, you can do some mental work.
But it is football season, and Troy University opens their doors for the 2021 season or school year, and we're happy to see all the students back, and not today, but tomorrow. The school starts at Troy University. Classes start. And, So that should be a big addition for our town, too. If you think about it, just think of how many new people we've got living and running around, going to shopping centers, buying gas and whatever, hamburgers.
Oh,
you got a lot of people in town to go with a highway out there that is the most unbelievable highway. A guy told me, he said, gosh, boy, Troy sure has grown. He's talking about that highway out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it is 25 to 30,000 cars go down that road every day. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I did a story 20 years ago, and I got the traffic counts at the main intersections, and I think they were close to 30,000.
Yeah. It would be
25 years ago,
study.
so I know they're at 87 and 231. That traffic count has to be 35,000 cars a day go past it.
It would be an interesting thing to do if you're sitting around the house with nothing to do, going out and count the cars.
Well, it's also interesting that so many businesses are out on Highway 231. I counted the businesses when I did that story. You know, I rode down the road and counted them. Boom, 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 boom. There were like 127 that fronted Highway 231, so I'm sure there's 180 now.
Oh, yeah.
But because of that, you have so many local people that either work at those businesses or they're going to get a hamburger. Yeah. So you go up, even the local people get out on 231 many times a day, so that inflates the traffic count. It's interesting to do the traffic count south of town and north of town, and you get those numbers, and then that's the number of people passing through. But that's a big number too, though.
If you haven't driven through the campus lately, they have torn down, I say torn down, I reckon that's the right word, two dorms and a natatorium. And they're still in the process of trying to get all that debris moved out, though. But that makes a big opening right there, and I don't know if the plan is to build another building or to build parking or whatever.
Green space.
But it needed to go Old Hamel Hall and was one of the dorms that went and.
When I did my story on the beautification of Troy's campus for Troy Life a couple months ago, I talked to the director of the physical plant, and he told me they were going to do that, and they finally did it, and it's going to mostly just be pretty green space, but it'll open up the view of like to the stadium from the Adams Center. I think it's going to make it pretty, and those buildings were in bad disrepair,
and they were
eyesores, really.
And when they built them, well, of course Shackford had been there. But then you had, then they would they built the other two right side by side. I mean, it was just like Army. Yeah, that's right. You know, but they're gone now. So all the memories of Old Hamel Hall and what was the other one?
One of them had the infirmary on the ground floor. Now, the natatorium, I never went in any of those two dorms. My wife lived in one of them for a semester when she was a college student here. But I went, like everybody, I went to the natatorium quite a bit.
Yeah. And that, and it's a shame because now Troy does not have a real indoor facility for swimming, They've got the pool over the rec center, but it's outside and it's real small too,
They got a pool at the new rec center, and it is small. But somewhere where you can do real swimming or have a swim meet and a deep pool.
You'd have to go to the
rec center
here in
Troy.
Troy.
We got the rec center,
it's really a nice facility too. Of course, if you've never been out there, take a ride out there. A lot of you college students in town have never seen the rec center, and it is a nice facility to go and swim.
Well, let's talk about
the
other projects coming up at Troy. I saw Mrs. Hawkins and Dr. Hawkins at the recital for the performing arts camp that my kids went to, and I talked to Miss Hawkins again about the Gateway project where they're going to Miss Hawkins wants to build an archway somewhere on George Wallace Drive when you turn from George Wallace Drive into the campus, which some colleges have done. That would be real impressive.
It would be, no question.
They're going to continue to clean up around the lagoon. You know, they're slowly doing it. They've never stopped.
If you notice, they're extending it. You know, it's going to be a bigger pond when it's all done.
Oh, yeah. And they're getting rid of this nuisance kudzu weeds. I'm talking about the area from the lagoon back to Janice Hawkins Cultural Park where the Terracotta Warriors are.
Yeah.
That whole area is getting prettier and prettier.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to do a project at the baseball stadium, you told me.
Yeah, they're going to improve. They're not going to increase seating, but they're going to have chairback seats for every person. You know, real nice seating, and then coaches' offices and meeting rooms. It's going to be real nice. It's going to be real nice. I don't know if they plan on doing that now or wait till later, but it's going to be real nice. Of course.
Well, it's the prettiest campus in Alabama, and it's getting pretty. It's only going to get prettier. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah, no question about it. And of course, with school starting, you've got so many activities going on, and it's going to be a lot of fun. The freshmen had their orientation. I was at the beach, and I didn't get back in time to see it, but. I always like to see that freshman orientation where the band is playing inside the Trojan Arena, and they said it was a big.
Well, the bands are practicing. I read a story about Alabama's football practice, and the writer said that in the background they could hear the $1 Million Band practicing. But that's new. Last year they didn't have that. The bands were not practicing. So.
That's right.
That's good that we have that back.
Of course, Alabama, Auburn, and everybody around us is having their opening practices. And Alabama gave us a good look at their new quarterback. And I tell you, if Bryce Young, let's just say this, if being pretty and looking good, looking like a great athlete, does any good, he's got it whipped because he's a good-looking athlete.
I was telling you off air that I was looking at some pictures. Oh, let me do our...
Yeah, do a German.
Guten Morgen.
Morning.
Hey, you called us 6 minutes later than normal because you normally call us at 7:07 right on the dot. You must have been busy with the kids.
I've been up since 5. I couldn't sleep. My little one starts kindergarten today. We went and toured the June Lakes Elementary School yesterday, and it was like a high school. I couldn't get over how big it was for an elementary school. It was.
And your little girl is going to school then?
I would say it's bigger than most, probably 4A schools, like high schools. That's how big it is.
And my little granddaughter doesn't know a soul, does she? She doesn't know anybody, does she?
No, she knows some kids that were in her BTK class at Point Washington.
But can they communicate? You see Mary Prater talking to them, you know?
You know, I was talking to the principal yesterday. They had 635 kids at that school last year. This year they have 965.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my gosh. What happened?
But you know what? It's almost as big as Troy Elementary.
What happened is everybody moved to Troy. I mean, everybody moved to the beach. After COVID happened.
Of course,
you know, that is a... Heck, man, that's about a 50% increase, 40% increase in 1 year. That's amazing.
But you know, Michael, it's still not as big as Troy Elementary is. They have over 1,000 students. Can you believe that? Troy Elementary.
I know it's a lot, but you got to understand that that's only one elementary school.
Are you serious? Is that
well?
Yeah.
Yeah. So at 331, right there when you're heading over to Freeport over the big bridge, that's kind of the cutoff. So all the kids off 98 and 38 on that side go to Butler Elementary, and all the kids, you know, kind of around Grayton to Seaside.
You got it.
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
Hey, Bill, Will Matthews, how you doing?
Good morning, Will.
Will, good morning. How you doing, my friend?
Michael was just telling us that his daughter is starting kindergarten, and he was telling us how many students are at his elementary school. It's amazing. Everybody's moving to Florida, is the bottom line.
I tell you what, it is getting to be a very populated area, no question about it. And I was down there and had a great time this weekend. He took us to the lake, and the lake there is the most unusual setting. You have the lake, but then you have the Gulf pouring into the lake, and it's just beautiful. It's probably the most beautiful beaches, I think, in Florida, Mike.
Yeah, it's pristine water this time of year. Anybody that's on the last-minute beach trip, you got to come now because it's gorgeous down here.
Because
got a bunch of people next door from Tuscaloosa, but they don't start school there until the 16th.
Well, you know, our public school started last Monday. Yesterday, and then the Pike Liberal Arts, our private school, starts the next week, the 16th, I believe that's when they start. So.
Well, we lost Bobby Bowden. Have we mentioned that on the show?
No, we haven't.
Well, we had a rerun yesterday, so let's talk about him.
Yeah. Did you see the picture of his family? They had a picture on Facebook of his family. Huge family. I bet there was almost 100 people in that picture, family picture. And oh, what a great man! And he was right there sitting in his chair, right in the middle. And you know, I think back of the times that we sat across from him when he had his camp here, and we got to know him. And he's just a regular guy. And I'll tell you another little quick story. You know how the Alabama group has a place they eat at every Friday here in Troy. If you're an Alabama fan,
I've been to it.
You might want to go.
Dad went every Friday.
It's called the Red Elephant Club.
Yeah, and they were sitting around, and in a minute, one of the guys looked over there and said, "Who isn't that Bobby Bowden sitting right there?"
It was at the Country Kitchen restaurant.
Yeah, the Country Kitchen, and Coach Bobby Bowden was driving through, and he came over there, and they said he talked for over an hour.
It was my dad that went over and said, "Hey, Coach, you want to join us?" And he did, and they said they had a grand time.
And that's
the way
your
he
dad,
is, man.
He's just a
too
regular
many people
guy.
have said that. I've experienced it. When he had this camp, I interviewed him one time. Couldn't have been more of a gentleman and gracious, and I've just never heard of a person as revered and famous as him being as approachable and kind to every person. I mean, he's a real role model of how we should all be.
So he had all his sons were there, you know, and had a great career coaching themselves, but they were all.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Bobby Bowden was the first college coach to ever make $1 million a year. He was the first one.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And Mickey Andrews worked for Bobby for over 30 years. He was the first assistant coach to make $250,000.
Well, they paid him well, didn't they? Yeah, back then.
And at one time, Florida State, Michael can probably look this up, but it was like 12 or 14 years in a row. They were in the top 5 in the country every year, every single year.
Yep.
Oh yeah, no question.
That was that run might not be beat.
They own recruiting. They owned the recruiting.
Yeah, one of their best players was a kid from Dothan named Lawrence Salty.
Yeah, that's right. He was a great one.
They had this player named Deion Sanders, who was from Fort Myers, Florida. You know who lived in Fort Myers for 2.5 years?
Y'all did?
The Rices.
Rices.
I wonder how much older Deion is than me. I might have been. I guess I was living in Fort Myers at the same time as Deion.
Yeah, you were. You would have been teammates with him. But he was a good.
Deion's in his 50s, I think.
Yeah. Well, what's going on in Ozark, Alabama? What's going on?
A lot of people have COVID.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah.
I mean, local people that you know?
Your friend, Will, that's so sick, I keep on seeing you reporting on Facebook. Had he had the vaccine or did he not have the vaccine?
He did not have the vaccine.
Oh, boy.
Terrible shape, and I hope he makes it, but it don't look good. I mean,
Well, I hate it. I sure hate it.
and his wife's got it too,
It affects some people worse than it does others, doesn't it? Of course, Will, I know, is very concerned about his friend, and
yeah, it's terrible.
if y'all, Troy, you wouldn't believe the individuals that we lost during the first spread of the virus, and if we don't watch it, we're gonna have more people.
I'll tell you this. All those people we know that we lost, it seems like all of them were in that terrible spike from about December through February, that winter spike.
Yeah.
That's when cases just went through the roof, which is what they're doing right now.
So this virus affects you more in the wintertime, is that right?
Yeah, normally, but that's what's so strange about this is that here we are in the middle of the summer, and it's raging like it never has.
Well, hey, Bill, last Saturday, 4 days ago, 88 people died in Mobile County.
Oh, boy.
It's one county.
Oh, man, that is rough.
Terrible.
And you people that don't want to take the, I say you're a chicken. And let me tell you this, I'm going to call you a chicken. You guys that have not taken the virus shot, I say there's no reason for it. You can go to almost anywhere and take the shot and take it free, and it's turned out to be better than anything else we've had to fight the virus is the shot. So take the shot.
It's doing a great job stopping all these cases right now. I'll say that.
Well, one thing about it too, if you do get it after you've had the vaccination, you don't have as bad a case.
Yeah.
I was just looking at British. We know what's going to happen with this thing because it happened 2 months earlier in the UK, and then before that it happened in India. It's happened in Israel. The Delta variant. It is much more contagious, and it's going to blow through the population. Everybody's going to get it, and you're going to have herd immunity from the Delta variant in about 2 or 3 months. But this thing started in the UK in June, mid-June. Cases and deaths went from almost nothing to just straight up in July. Now, here's the strange thing about the UK. 75% of their population is fully vaccinated, over 18. So the vaccinations did not stop this spread. And then the hospitalizations is better if you're vaccinated, but still 45% of the people that are hospitalized in the UK had been fully vaccinated. So it's the vaccine might have been effective with the Alpha variant, but the Delta variant is defeating the vaccine as far as I can tell.
I don't believe that at all. I think if you take the shots, you've got a very good chance of not getting the virus if you'll take those shots. Those 2 shots, take them.
You get the virus, but you're asymptomatic. You don't have any real serious symptoms.
Well,
you can still get the coronavirus. I mean, everybody's getting the coronavirus that's been vaccinated, but it's just they're asymptomatic and they're not showing.
Well, they're not asymptomatic.
Not showing up,
most are asymptomatic. Yeah. A lot are asymptomatic,
but they're asymptomatic. Some are mild cases. I mean, there are people that are having to get hospitalized, but the issue is you got a better chance to live.
That's right.
You got a great chance to give it to everybody.
Yeah.
The virus, the vaccine is not. The vaccine is not. At one time, we were told that if you get it, you won't spread it. Well, no, it might have been true with the other variant, but with this one, if you get the virus, you can, even if you've been vaccinated, you can still spread it to others. Because there's been lots of husbands and wives that have been vaccinated that both got it. I don't know. And then they say there is if you listen to Fauci, the Delta variant, so if you look at the UK, their cases are starting to come down. And India and Israel went way up, and now they're starting to come down. So in about a month and a half, the same thing will happen in America.
It's just because we got the 2
but then
shots.
they say there's another variant. This thing never stops mutating. Yeah. So this, what's really scary is The next variant might hit about during the flu and winter season, and that'll even be worse probably.
They say that you're probably going to have to take another shot. Even though you've had 2 shots already, you're going to have a booster shot, which is I'll get in line right now to get it done. There's no question I want to stay with this 2 shot vaccine, and now coming up soon in the fall of the year will be the booster shot.
Well, that's what they're saying.
Yeah, the only thing they're talking about a booster shot is Pfizer. They're talking about a booster shot. Moderna, I've heard now, is up to like 97% effective rate.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. I love that. I love those odds.
If you do catch COVID again, it's usually asymptomatic. You are a mild condition at worst. The problem is now when you have everybody that's had the actual vaccine. I think I read the other day it's almost 60% nationwide. But the problem is when you're asymptomatic, you have no clue that you have COVID, and that's how you spread it to people that are unvaccinated, and that's how you're seeing all these people in the hospitals everywhere.
Yeah, but I tell you what, almost 90% of the people in the hospital are people that did not take the shot. Isn't that unreal?
You're right about that.
Those percentages, if you can't see those percentages, you're blind.
Well, I've looked at that quote and I'm researching it, and it's let's say I am very, very suspicious. They say it's 95% of the people in the hospital in Alabama are right now are unvaccinated. Well, I just looked at data in the UK that's already gone through this, and it's 45% in their hospitals. So I'm just wondering why the vaccine works for 95% of the population in Alabama, and it only worked for 55% in the UK. Something's fishy about that.
Well, Rod, you're never going to win. You're never going to win on the show with Dad.
Oh, I know. I'm not going to win with anybody.
Well, no, he's welcome to
I would say
has
that
done a lot of research. No
and
question.
people know from their own firsthand experience. We all know people now that have been fully vaccinated that have got this virus, and then most of them are asymptomatic, but several of them are getting little minor flu symptoms. It's just. I don't. It doesn't seem like it's 95.
The only real protection I know that's out there is the two virus shots that you get from what is it?
Pfizer or Moderna?
Yeah, Moderna, or.
I went to a school yesterday, and there'll be 900 kids there plus today, 950, not even counting teachers and staff. So you're talking about probably way over 1,200, 1,300 people. Not one person there has to wear a mask.
All right, that's the stupid people in Florida for some reason. In Alabama, our kids have got the mask.
If you want to bring a mask, you can bring a mask, and a kid can wear a mask if they want to wear a mask, but it's not mandatory you do wear one.
Yeah. And I think it's the second most active state in the United States for the virus.
Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss's football program has made big news. They are 100% vaccinated.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, they ought to give him a star on top of his head. I love it.
Well, watch and see.
Lane Kiffin has also lost 35 pounds in the offseason, and so he's in the best shape of his life.
Yeah.
He must have gone on the Atkins diet.
Well,
I heard they put $500 cash in a McDonald's bag if you took the vaccine.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
You don't even have to do that. You don't even have to do that anymore, Will. You just have some booster come up with some way to pay for it.
Well, here's a perfect, example. So
Yeah.
the Ole Miss football team is now 100% vaccinated. That's perfect. That's a good experience. Now, do you think anybody on the Ole Miss football team is going to get COVID?
Yeah, I'm sure they might, but not as many. I don't think.
It'll be the same as the rest of us, probably.
Bill, they won't be tested. If they won't.
Yeah, they don't have to test them. Yeah. That's the whole thing. Yeah.
And let me tell you something. And I can't believe this. I cannot believe this. That we're paying folks to take a shot that would save their life. And they're doing us a favor. You folks out there said, "Oh, I'll go get it," and then they get the shot to save their life, and we're paying them what, $200 per shot, some places.
Yeah, that's good.
Having to pay them to save their life, you know.
They're doing bigger incentives than that down here in Florida. I've heard they're paying as much as $500 for.
Can you believe that? Can you believe that?
Well, when they get it up to 1,000, I'll go get one. I'm holding out.
Right.
Let's all get some money together and raise $1,000 for Rice to go get the vaccine. I actually think I'd give to that charity.
Right, and let me tell you this now, and I'm not joking with Rice because he's done a lot of research and he's got a lot of knowledge, and he's not being smart aleck. He's just telling you facts.
Just tell you what I think.
But he was one of the first people, and see, here it is, one of the first people in Pike County to get the virus. Is that right?
We think he had the virus.
Don't you think that happened?
Well, I think there were a lot of people, actually. I got sick on January 24th, 2020 at a Troy University basketball game. And that was a month before the first case in Alabama. But I'm here to tell you, I had every COVID symptom, including loss of smell and taste, shortness of breath. I had COVID. That is the reason that I have not had COVID since, because I had natural immunity. I probably still got it to some degree. I don't know if I'm protected against this Delta variant. Probably not. But Bill Rice wasn't the only person sick in January in Troy, Alabama. Half the town of Troy was sick, if y'all remember. My wife was a school teacher at Charles Henderson. She came home one day when I was sick, and I said, "How'd school go?" And she said, half of one of my classes was out today. So she had about 32 students, and so 16 of them were sick. But yes, I think that's my big thing is, if this virus was spreading months before people say it was spreading, so a lot more people have had the virus because it started earlier, and a lot more people are immune. I'm getting ready to write a big story that I hope goes international on that topic and prove it. So y'all be on the lookout.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen,
I just don't understand how we ever get rid of it. I feel like this is just going to be with us the rest of our lives.
It'll be like, some people say it'll be like, the flus and colds or viruses, and they never go away. So
okay, back to our us talking about other things. And in fact, Troy University.
Interesting story out of Georgia. Scott Cochran has left Georgia's program. Kirby Smart stated that he's working on his mental health and well-being.
Oh boy!
So everybody loved Scott Cochran. He was a strength coach. The yay.
Yeah. He must have went crazy.
He was part of Alabama's program for all those years. And now he has stepped away from Georgia's program. He's actually the special teams coordinator at Georgia. He's not even the strength coach.
Yeah, he's on the field now. He's on the field.
From what I hear, I've got a lot of friends that did supper clubs with him and his wife, and they just say he's just the greatest, nicest guy ever. So best of luck to Coach Cochran. We hope he gets better.
Yeah, of course that is sad. Well, we've got a great show for you. We'll be back with more of Today in L.A.
$29 is all you need. That's right. $29. And you're driving today. Or get payments starting as low as $99 a month during the $29.99 sale. Shop PremierTroy.com and save. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Are you ready?
Starting August 20th.
When it comes to surgery, precision is perfection. The very latest technology available ensures the best possible outcome. The Mako Robotic Arm Assisted Surgery System is now available at Troy Regional Medical Center. Skilled orthopedic surgeon Dr. Robert L. Liljeberg and his team provide patients with faster recovery and better movement after a knee replacement surgery. When accuracy matters, you deserve the very best. Troy Regional Medical Center.
The City of Montgomery Department of Cultural Affairs is excited to welcome country music icon Martina McBride to Riverwalk Stadium on August 14th. Tickets are just $30. Get your tickets online at montgomeryal.gov or in person at 200 Coosa Street. Martina McBride with special guests the Wilson Brothers Band on August 14th is brought to you by Embassy Suites, Blue Water Broadcasting, and Bama Bud.
At Wiley Sanders Truck Line, we put God and family first. You've heard me talk about the $1,000 sign-on bonus. You've heard me talk about Blue Cross Blue Shield. You've heard me talk about the dental plan. You've heard me talk about our sister companies. But have you heard me talk about what you can have in 10 years at Wiley Sanders Truck Line at 4%? That's right. With Wiley Sanders Truck Line, they match your 401k up to 4%. $650 a month? Hey. 10 years, $124,000. That's right, Wiley Sanders Truck Line for your future.
Let it be known who the real royals are. We have to protect our family.
I will not be bullied into playing a game that killed my mom. Then Palace is sending a message.
You have fueled uncertainty.
Palace would prefer you to remain neutral.
We need to let people hear our truth.
They know exactly where we are.
And I have a plan.
They're making out that we're not part of this family.
If I'm left alone, I don't know what I might do.
I'm stopping them from destroying us like they have so many others.
Harry and Meghan, Escaping the Palace. Premieres Monday, September 6th today on Lifetime.
$29 down and payments as low as $99 a month. That's right. And choose from over 100 used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Yes. That's over 2 million of pre-owned inventory. Shop big selection. Low prices. Nobody beats a premier deal. Nobody.
Back to our show, and with us this morning is Chase Blake with the Troy University Athletic Department. And Chase, good to have you.
Yeah, good morning.
We've been talking about the virus and everything. Now it's time to talk about this big week at Troy University with the drawdown, and then a few weeks later the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. Yeah, we got a lot going on the next 3-4 weeks leading up to the season. Starting off with drawdown this Saturday, which I know everyone probably watching is very familiar with.
Oh yeah.
It's been going on for 40 years.
He started it.
I'll tell you when we. I did. We started.
He was the MC until Ray McKnight took over.
But let's see, Gailey was here in 83. So in 84 we started it, and it's been successful ever since. Of course, it's a fundraiser to raise funds for Troy University, and but it's also a kickoff bank party that everybody loves.
Yeah, just a good way to give back to Troy, hang out with your fellow Trojans, meet the coaches. Got a really good slate for the silent auction, but everything, like you said, goes back to the Troy football program. That's kind of the big emphasis from it. So your ticket price, any silent auction items, that goes straight to that program, which is obviously what we want to support.
And Rice, if you want to go to the event, you can go with me.
Okay.
It'll be a big party.
It is. It's the best party in Troy. It has been for 40 years. I know a lot of people have won the drawdown.
I know. I can count out many of them.
Let me tell you one story. I was at one of them. Used to have it at the Holiday Inn, and I was having a good time. And Mr. Jack Rainey had left or hadn't even showed up, but he won it, and he wasn't even there. And somebody told me, and I said, "Well, I'll call Mr. Rainey. I know his phone number." And I called him and said, "Guess what, Mr. Rainey?" He said, "What?" I said, "You're $10,000 richer."
So last year it went down to the last number. Everyone kept deciding to pull until that last person won it.
Oh man, it was something.
So I failed to mention that. So there's certainly a chance to go away.
Of course,
with the prize
it's going to be at the Trojan Arena, and what a beautiful setting for it. They'll have tables all over the place, and beautiful. It's a class act, I promise you, and a lot of fun.
They don't do it up in the press box anymore. They moved it to the arena.
Yeah, they moved it to. They've had it in the arena. I don't know how many years, but it's really nice, don't you think?
Oh, it's tremendous. Last year was my first one. Even through everything going on last year, we still had a really good turnout. We sold around 330 tickets last year. We're already there right now. Looking to get to 400 tickets sold by the end of the week, leading up to it. So, still time to get tickets. So tickets are $125 a piece, and that admits 2 people into the event. But does just have 1 entry into the draw now.
Yeah, that's right.
But does get you 2 people into the event, which it's all you can eat, all you can drink. We'll have some live entertainment, silent auctions, coaches and staff will be in there, and Mr. Amos will be there. I'll be there, so we're just having a good time.
Yeah,
Chase, how long have you been at Troy University?
So I got here last May. I moved down here May the 1st of 2020. So it's been about 18
What a time to
16
arrive.
months. It was interesting to say the least, that's for sure. But we made it through and are definitely looking forward to that first game on September 4th.
Mike, he's one of the first people you've ever seen that went to East Carolina.
Well, I worked there.
Yeah, worked there. Then where'd you go to school?
What was the East Carolina Buccaneers? What is their nickname?
The Pirates. Oh, yeah.
Pirates, yeah.
But no, I went to NC State and the University of South Carolina.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
But, which will be up there in Columbia. We play up there this year in football.
So, Mike, he flew up there to play.
Have you ever tailgated the cabooses outside the stadium?
Oh, for certain. Oh, yeah. There's those are pretty special up that way. So if you guys haven't ever been up there to go check out the cockabooses, they're quite the sight to see.
Yeah, and I remember when they started
doing
doing
this. Do you have a previous relationship with Tyler Meade?
I did not. I knew his name, but I did not know him. Just I was in school there about 8 years ago, so he'd been in Columbia for the last 4 years. So I just knew who he was, followed him. So he's, if you want to talk baseball, he's been a fantastic hire. Been hitting the ground running with recruiting. Looking forward to the.
I heard him
fall
speak
ball.
the other day. He's a dynamic speaker.
Right.
Boy, he is a sharp guy. I tell you, really is.
So was Gardner Nishu, the quarterback that became legendary at Washington State? Was he at East Carolina?
Yeah, he's a graduate of ECU. Great guy. You would have never thought in a million years he'd be doing what he's doing right now. But he was a great kid when he was in school there. Threw the ball real well. You could see his talent. Unfortunately, the other roster wasn't too much, and kind of struggled, and he kind of took off at Wazoo, and here we are now.
He was going to go hold the clipboard at Alabama.
For the spring.
He was at Troy. Then what did he go to? Junior College, Mississippi, and
went from Troy to junior college.
Yep. But no, he was a great kid. Didn't have a mustache yet. Like he does now, or the mullet, but he was really good, and he graduated from ECU, which I know he was proud of.
You call it the mullet? What was that? The mullet?
Yep.
Who's the most famous coach ever? The coach at East Carolina.
Pat Dye.
There's people say Pat Dye, or you
yeah.
definitely say they liked
the guy another
Steve. Oh my gosh.
Skip Holtz.
Well, Skip was good. Skip was good for him in the early 2000s.
Didn't they have the fattest guy in coach in America?
Well, we didn't like to call him that. Ruffin McNeil was a good one.
Yeah, Ruffin back there.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about Wayne.
He played for Dye though at East Carolina. He was a Ruffin. Ruffin McNeil was East Carolina alumni.
Right.
Yeah,
yep.
that's right.
You're right.
And he was a good coach.
When Coach Dye left Alabama, Coach Dye was a good friend of my dad's, and teammate at Fort Benning Doughboys. And so we kept up with Coach Dye, and he was at East Carolina for 7 or 8 years, and man, they were good. They had winning records every year, and they either beat or almost beat the big boys that they would play. So
yeah, they had 1 year in the 80s where they lost 3 games by a combined 11 points to the likes of Miami, Florida State. There's another one. They had some obviously.
Let me tell you.
David Garrard. David Garrard played a long time in the NFL.
Yep.
Sure. Well, the other one was a long-time coach, and I can't remember his name.
I've never even been there.
But I will say this: that this is a perfect example of what you can do when you go Division 1A. Their school was about 4,000 or 5,000 students at one time. Pat Dye got there. And when he left, they had their student body was 14,000, and now their student body is 30,000.
Yeah.
And their school is now like you said, 30 to 40.
What town is East Carolina in?
Greenville, North Carolina.
Greenville,
How big a town is Greenville?
About 80 or 90 in there, and it's continuous to.
But it's grown because of football, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, it used to be just like Troy was a.
They the whole 50,000.
Yeah.
Yep. Officially 51 now.
What did Bobby Bowden tell you one time? What's the difference between Troy and Florida State?
He said money. Money. And he said we got more money. You're right. Exactly. This is a bright young guy, and Troy is lucky to have Chase. Did you realize when you got here that your name would be named after Chase Riddle and Larry Blakeney?
Well, I knew about the coaches, but certainly I wasn't thinking how close they were to my name. But it's pretty cool.
When they hear you, I'm sure many times, of course, you talked to hundreds of Troy fans since you've been here. And a lot of them probably ask you about, did you get that name from Chase Riddle?
Right. Oh, yeah. There could be much worse people your names could be associated with. That's right.
Let me ask you a question. How old are you?
I'm 30. I'll be 31 in a couple weeks, though.
Now, so when did Troy go Division I, Mike? In 2000?
2001. It's the 20th anniversary. It's the 20th anniversary.
Your whole life following sports, you've always heard of Troy University, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
100%. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be here today if that wasn't the case, yeah.
Let me tell you something. That's what I wanted to hear. That is the truth. You would not have come.
And you probably would not have paid much attention to us if we were still Division II.
I wouldn't completely write that off, but I certainly, when you're at that Division I level, that's just a different caliber, higher expectations,
no question
more
about it.
alumni engagement.
We're in the top level of college football, and buddy, there's not a lot of folks would like to be there, like Jacksonville State and North Alabama. Hey, they love to be there, but they're not. We are.
Hey, let me make an editorial comment. We need to take advantage of these next couple years. Chase, you can comment on this. Because all these big boys are there, all this crazy stuff's happening, and the scheduling slots for these big games are going to get fewer and fewer between. But that doesn't affect us for several years because these games are locked into the future, and these contracts against South Carolina and teams like that.
Right.
So we got a real window to win the conference and win some upsets against teams like South Carolina and Tennessee and North Carolina State. But we need to take advantage of it these next 5 or 6 years and make even a bigger splash and increase our brand even more. That's why this season is so important. We got most of the team coming back. I see no reason why we can't get on a roll like Coastal Carolina did last year and win the conference, upset South Carolina, and see what happens.
Right. But let me tell you one very important thing. If it's lightning out there, Troy doesn't practice.
They pushed practice to last night.
I was there last night. Mm-hmm. Hey, you know how long we practiced? 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And they had to go back in. We went in, we right at 7 o'clock, we were going to practice. We had to go in because of the lightning. So we had to wait 30 minutes.
When are we going to get the Wally Sanders indoor practices?
I don't know. We sure need it, though. And, but then when we came right back out, we practiced 5 minutes. I'm no longer than 5 minutes, and we went back in. And we never did come back out.
It's always tough to go through that with thunderstorms, especially down in the south.
And the big boys don't have any problem with it. They just go in there, go inside and practice.
Right.
I remember when.
That's got to be the next thing for football. They've got to be able to build some kind of bubble, some kind of indoor, even if it's just 50 yards. You got to have something. You can't go to Trojan Arena.
Well,
it's been on the drawing board. I know they want to do it. I mean, that costs a lot of money. So
that's certainly something everyone would love to have. And with us here and Dr. Hawkins and our athletic department, we want to do it, 100% and not kind of what you've seen at other places throughout the state. We want to have a good one. That's certainly something you want to do, but I think that's on the docket. I think we all would love to have, but nothing in the near future right now as we speak.
The new baseball stadium renovations look incredible. I can't wait to see those.
Yeah, that's the next thing that's really on the docket that we'll really start pushing. Starting in the fall, going into the spring, and all that good stuff going into the season next year. Because that's something that I think we need to do, not only just to enhance that program, but from a game day standpoint as well for fans and alums to come back. And, you know, with it being that first point of, you know, that first thing you see when you come on campus, it's already a really nice facility, but make it even better, just like all the other football stadium, basketball stadium. It's just, you know, we want to do it first class, and that's what we're here to do.
Well, you know, we've talked about it many times on this show that the baseball team is the team that's going to win Troy its first Division I national championship, or at least get in the World Series. Because, Mike, what do you got to have to get there?
Two pitchers, two regular pitchers, and two relief pitchers.
That's it. And you need a nice facility to recruit these kids too, though. And we're going to get that.
First of all, we're right here at it, and the big weekend is coming up. Troy University. I used to call it Troy University Football Night, but it's what do they call it? Appreciation night.
Yeah, I saw a flyer the other day about it. Yeah, it's a kickoff party.
That's right.
Football kickoff party, a.k.a. drawdown.
Going to be a lot of fun. If you don't have your tickets, you can call the athletic department today. What's your phone number, Chase?
Everyone, guys can call my cell, 910-690-5466, and we'll get you squared away. Or
you're going to do that again.
Or you can buy it online at troytrojans.com/kickoff party, and that'll just take you a direct link to buy it online. And if you do buy it today or any other day the rest of this week, you'll pick it up at the table check-in. We don't want to get in trouble with the mail by sending out
that's what I'm doing.
The ticket. So Mike's picking up his, and so Miss Judy.
It's probably a tax write-off, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's a tax write-off.
I don't believe so. That's a good question, to be honest.
Well, let's just say this: my account,
that's a good question. That's a good question, actually.
But I give to I give to it every year, and I always get it.
So how many people can y'all have in Trojan Arena? What's y'all's limit?
So we're aiming to sell 400 tickets. So that typically that allows you to have 2 people per ticket. So that's 800. So we can certainly have as many people as we can fit in on that floor.
Yeah.
We'll have tables. Like I said, we'll have a food buffet, a couple bars, live music, the silent auction area. So there's plenty of room for anybody that wants to come. Now we're typically, we don't allow anyone to buy day of, so we're trying to tell everyone to get everything in by Friday before business closes, so that we can get that all ready to go in our system for the drawdown come Saturday night.
Is Troy scrimmaging on Saturday as well?
Yeah, they are, yes. And I look forward to that too, to watch the first full scrimmage of the season, and of course you can come out early and watch the Trojans. And then, of course, we've got alumni gathering coming up this weekend too, and several events going up as we get ready for the 2021 football season. And you know, I was talking to somebody the other day about the indoor facility, and of course, we definitely need it. And but you know, it should be able other sports like baseball, like. Every sport, even maybe the band, if the band ever needed to use the indoor facility, should be able to use it. And so I don't think it's just all for football. It would be the baseball and some other sports.
Exactly. That's what you would want to do it for, because you want every one of your programs to be able to utilize some type of facility like this.
All right, now you are a pretty big golfer. In fact, let me tell you this: tell him the courses you played this weekend.
So I got to go back home. Yeah, I got to go back home this past weekend up in North Carolina, the Pinehurst Southern Pines area.
Where you're from.
Played Pine Needles, which that's where they've hosted the U.S. Women's Open a handful of times, and Mid Pines, which is their sister course, and then I played a course that I used to live at called Mid-South, who's just a really, really good track. So and we played the Cradle, which is the new short course at the resort in Pinehurst, which if you're a golfer, that's definitely a destination place to play.
Have you ever played in those, Will?
I played the North and South 3 years in a row.
Okay.
That was at Pinehurst, number 2.
Yeah.
He's one of the best.
That's awesome.
Well,
Yeah, I always
Alabama.
loved following the North-South growing up, and I worked at the resort and the driving range when I was in high school. So we were always...
Will was all conference at Vanderbilt. He was Brant Snedeker back in the 70s.
He played in the U.S. Amateur.
Oh yeah.
One time I played at a Ronick up outside of Philadelphia.
Well, I believe we got a guy on the staff that can take care of their golf because he's a good one.
We got a new golf coach. Tell us about them. Have you met him?
Tell us about him.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Forrest has really started really well, out recruiting, just like we were talking about with Skylar in baseball. So they're really just getting geared up. Now all of our student athletes are on campus. Most of them came in this week for either preseason training, if their sports not until the winter or the spring. Obviously, we've got volleyball and soccer that are also playing with football here in the fall. So, Forrest has come in. You know, everyone knows we've got a tremendous track record for both of our golf programs. And
where did he actually come from?
He was at Huntington.
Huntington in Montgomery?
No, he was over in
he was at Henderson State.
Henderson State over in Arkadelphia.
Yeah.
And he had won 7 or 8 conference titles while he was coaching the men and the women's golf programs there. He played golf there. So we're really excited about what he's going to bring.
We're going to get him
to the program because, like we were talking about facilities, the golf facility is second to none in our conference, and even in the.
So what do you shoot when you play golf? Are you
I'm
70s? Are you pretty good?
No, I'm low 80s on a good day. So I don't get to play as much as I'd like, but certainly trying to get that down.
But let me tell you what he did. Tell him what you and your friends did. This weekend.
Well, this weekend, we had a nice group of eight of some of my good friends that some of them I worked with at ECU that were now kind of across the country at other schools. Just decided to come back for one little weekend before we all go crazy with football getting started back up. So it was our last little hurrah, so to speak, before.
Now, I'm not going to ask Will how many of them that he's played, but you would say that that area of North and South Carolina is the greatest area for golf in the world.
In the world, yeah. Well, obviously, I'm gonna be a little biased just growing up there, but that's what everyone says.
I mean, how many golf courses?
Have you played Kiowa?
I have not played Kiowa. I haven't played too much down in the on the beach areas, but I've heard Kiowa is very top notch. So.
Of course, Will is very good friends with Bob Jones the fourth, and out of Atlanta, and we're going to be talking to him sometime very soon about the big event that they've got going on.
Now, hey, Mike, I'll tell you, Bobby Jones only designed 2-4 spots.
All right.
You know where it's going.
Wait a minute. We can't hear you.
Well, can you hear me? You can't hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah. Okay, Bobby Jones, Robert Tyre Jones Jr., Bobby Jones, only designed 2 golf courses in his lifetime. One of them was Augusta National. Do you know the other one?
I thought you said it was in Atlanta, maybe?
Nope.
Somewhere in the Carolinas.
Somewhere in South Carolina, North Carolina.
It is. It's Highlands, North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Highlands Country Club there in Highlands, North Carolina.
And that's the yuppie capital of the world.
Yeah, that's where the real beautiful people go.
Yeah, you're right.
I want to go. My best friend had a place up there and never even took me.
If my friends Nick Sever and Ben Beard, if they played golf, they'd want to play at the Highlands.
Highlands, North Carolina. My wife has a lot of friends that have places there, and they say in the summer morning still it's like in the 50s there.
Oh yeah, it's very cool.
That's what everybody's going for.
Now, we want to talk about a couple of other things that are happening, too, that's very important. We've got Ralph Black's memorial to Ralph Black.
Right.
Tell us about that.
Yep, so we are almost complete with that fundraiser for Ralph Black. We are naming the home radio booth in the football stadium in his honor.
You got a sign up there, Holy Mackerel.
Which, we probably should put that in the... in kind of the plaque that we're going to have up on the wall there.
That's right.
That would have been pretty good. But yeah, it was. It's $50,000, which kind of all started from an anonymous gift of $25,000 in his honor.
Wow.
Yes,
that's
sir.
where this kind of all springboarded from, and in order to name this space, that was the required amount. And so we've had over 60 people that have contributed to this, and we're only $3,400 away now.
Isn't that wonderful?
And
yeah.
so we feel pretty good in getting that completed in time for that first game this year, to where we can kind of officially announce it, unveil it, all that good stuff. So it's been great to learn about Ralph through this process, and talking with a lot of the folks that he was close with. I know you guys kind of worked alongside each other for a long time,
good friends.
and hearing some really good things, and so we're really looking
His
forward.
son was, he had several children, but one was my age, Ed Black.
Talking to Ed. Mm-hmm.
You know Ed?
Yes,
we're talking about a great athlete. He was the quarterback of our high school football team at Charles Henderson, but he was one of the best baseball players to ever come through Troy, and then he played for Chase Riddle at Troy University.
Mm-hmm.
Won the national championship.
Of course, also coming up on the third day of September is the Hall of Fame banquet, which is one of the outstanding events Troy hosts every year. And we've got a lot of local people, including Barney Burnett and Colin McCrary and a few other very local people that will be inducted into the Troy University Hall of Fame. And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that's all set for the Friday night before that first home football game, September 3rd, inside Trojan Arena. We'll be in there. We're trying to get to 60 tables. We're a little bit over halfway right now in terms of getting those in. So we'll be reaching out and continuing to reach out to folks on getting seats, purchasing tables, and it'll be my first go through with the Hall of Fame ceremony. So really excited to usher in those 9 people. Since we didn't do it last year, we just kind of merged them all in. So we'll be honoring them and inducting them all that evening, and so we're just really excited to kind of see what that looks like.
I don't think that this event can be matched by any other one like it in the state of Alabama. It's a great event, the Troy University Hall of Fame banquet. We're going to have a party after that for all the.
Where are we going?
Right across the street.
Okay.
And you're going to love it, at the Alumni House, and we do that every year.
It's going to be sponsored by Haynes Ambulance. We'll have an ambulance.
What are you talking about?
It's going to be an older crowd.
It's going to be a fun crowd. A lot of Barney Burnett friends, a lot of Colin McCrary friends, and
Max Howell.
Max Howell. Our friends Max Howell.
Leon Davis is a dear friend of yours.
Yeah, Leon Davis is a very good friend of mine. He's gone in, and
I want to get on the committee that picks the honorees, because there's a couple people we still got to get in there.
Oh yeah, there's still some people that need to be in there, and that happens with.
Anyhow, I mean they'll get in eventually.
Exactly right. Of course, we're looking forward to that. And
what about you got soccer starting already, or what?
Yeah, so soccer and volleyball will be the first 2 that play before football. So it's soccer, volleyball, and football that are in the fall, or the early parts of fall before basketball gets going. Technically in the winter is what that sport's called, a winter sport.
You have a new soccer coach or interim coach?
So we've got an interim right now that the head coach left about 3 weeks ago or a couple weeks ago. Went back to St. Leo where he came from. So
that's
we just
in England, isn't it?
No, down in Florida.
Oh, St. Leo's good, yeah.
And so we just pulled one of the assistants into the interim role for the season, and we're really, really excited about the team. There's 9 or 10 new players that come in. That in talking with the coaches and just kind of hearing what the feeling is, they feel really good, trying to bounce back from last year, which didn't go as well as we were hoping, but feel really good about some impact transfers, some impact freshmen that can come in and score some goals for them. And a really cool thing is we just installed a brand new grass field for them, so they kind of needed one of those, so that was a really good project to get in for them, and it's all ready to roll.
What do you mean by that?
Just a brand new field turf.
Yeah.
Not turf, but just grass.
I remember when they first put that in there, it was real first class grass, and it lasted a long time.
And it lasted. It served its purpose. It was probably a few years out of past due.
Yeah.
So that was a really good thing that we needed to get in for them, and that just was finished up about.
I'm really curious about when you have volleyball and you have soccer. How many scholarships are available for those sports?
So volleyball, well, off the top of my head, volleyball is a head count sport, which means you can't split them up, just like football and basketball, unlike you can do in baseball, softball, and a bunch of the other sports. So
you're on full scholarship. You get a volleyball scholarship.
For basically, yes.
Wow.
And they come from everywhere,
Correct.
every walk of life. I'm telling you, northern, western, wherever. Yeah.
And so there's, off the top of my head, there's 14 or 15, and soccer's about that same number. But they can split those up like in baseball, where I know that's 11.7. I think everyone kind of knows that number pretty famously.
They need to increase that number.
Well, why in the world do they just have 11 scholarships for baseball? And they have 15, and they have 15 for basketball, don't they? Have 15?
Basketball is 14, men's is 14, women's is 15.
So you got a sport that has a lot more players that has fewer scholarships. It doesn't make. I mean, Troy has no power over that. That's just the way it is.
The only good thing about that, they would let you have your, like if you got an academic scholarship, they would let you have the academic scholarship.
Correct. Or if you do 50% athletic.
So I'm sure a lot of them own academic scholarships too.
Right.
Yeah. And
how does that work as far as scheduling right now of the Sun Belt? I know in basketball last year they really did the craziest thing ever as far as like you would have to play 2 games in a row.
Yeah, that was fun last year. I thought that was interesting.
2 games in a row on the road. Is that going to be done away with this year?
So we announced, or the Sun Belt, I should say, announced a couple weeks ago the men's and women's basketball schedule for the conference. And they did go away with the Friday, Saturday back-to-backs. So it's basically back to the Thursday, Saturdays like they typically used to do. There's a few kind of mixed in between there, but typically it's just going to be those Thursday, Saturdays like we've had previously.
And then it's so weird. That we talk about all the time. Like the women will be playing at Appalachian State in Boone, North Carolina, and then the men will be at home against Appalachian State in Troy. Why do they do that? I
mean, why did they stop scheduling them on the same day?
Why do they stop? I wish I could answer the question on the schedule, and that's way above
your pay grade. Your pay grade.
That's directly from the conference there.
You start here, you'll end up being an athletic director, and then you'll be a conference commissioner like Sankey.
Yeah, those commissioners, that's a tough gig there. Yeah. That's a lot.
Michael, let me ask you this.
I know, but I mean, don't you think it's a money revenue? I mean, it's a no-brainer to have the women play first and then the men after.
There's some TV reasons behind that.
Yeah.
I don't know too much to probably get into that too much, but that's kind of what there's a lot of TV issues with that type of stuff from doing, those double header type things. Which
that could push back a start time maybe of a game.
Well, let me, and of course, we worked around this big night, and you need to order your tickets to the big Troy University football night or this weekend at the Trojan Arena, and we want to make sure that you get your tickets. So pass the word to go ahead and get them before Friday, and it should be all right. Getting you on our show, and I think everybody out there is very impressed with the way you
What is your title, Chase?
So I am our Associate Athletic Director, and technically over revenue generation. But that basically just means development, fundraising.
The most important job on
these type of events, football. We're trying. We do have one. I'll say this: we've got one football suite left that we are trying to sell. It was kind of a surprise that is now open. So we're trying to fill that in. But yeah,
so you can get a football suite for a great season of football
this
games.
is probably the best, and you can.
Is it on the fifth or the sixth?
Say that again.
It's on the fifth floor. Is on the suite.
It's on the so we've got 8 suites on the 5th floor, because the rest of that floor is basically saved for the coaches' boxes, the TV area, radio, all that stuff, and then the rest are on the 6th floor. So this open suite's on the 6th floor.
How many suites do we have?
We've got 28, including 2 on the 4th floor, which are our
and all of them are booked but one. Is that
correct?
Right?
Yep. So anything anything development-wise, fundraising-wise, me and Gary Wilbert, who I think if whoever's watching out there probably knows Gary, he's been here about 6 years. I've definitely leaned on him. He's an associate athletic director title as well. So
I tell you what, he's a little Yankee guy, but let me tell you something. He's grown to be respected highly by everybody out there that's dealt with him over the years, and so Troy's been lucky to have him. And Troy's lucky to have this guy.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're working hard, just getting ready for the season, and like we kind of talked about earlier, just continuing to build the brand, spreading the word about the Trojan Warrior Club as we try to build that up. Kind of in comparison with other
That's
schools.
a good way to give to Troy.
Talk about the home schedule. I mean, we've talked about it a lot on the show. It's some great games.
I've only been here 2 years, but I think I'd be hard pressed to find a better schedule at home than Liberty, Louisiana, Georgia Southern, we got it right here, and App State. So there's probably hard pressed to find a better home schedule.
No question about it.
I mentioned South, and a couple good close road trips that we can go to, and then speaking of South Carolina, we know we can go in there and win that game. They're kind of still rebuilding.
Yeah, but I mean, how are you going to beat Frank Beaver and Shane Beaver?
Right. Yeah, it's a good one, and we do have we're doing a flash sale for tickets right now for some of these games. We're selling $10 tickets for folks, and I think we've done it in the past before, and we got some good hits. And I did want to bring up for that first home game, we just announced last week that it's going to be our Letter Winners Day, which basically with that we have invited every single one of our letter winners that we've had their contact info for. We're always trying to find updated info for these folks as we want to continue to recognize, honor them, bring them back as if those folks don't get to make it back as much. We want them to basically feel at home, feel comfortable in coming back.
Roll out the red carpet.
Exactly. So each person that wants to RSVP can get up to 4 tickets for that game for free.
Can you believe that? Well, what a deal! What a deal!
And we'll have a tailgate out in Tailgate Terrace for everyone. It'll probably be 2 or 3 tents full, so we'll have plenty of room for people to come in with their families. So that's something that we're really excited about.
How much do the tents and the Tailgate Terrace cost?
So those
people ever want to buy a tent?
So those, I should know that off the top of my head too. That's between $200 to $400 off the top of my head.
That's pretty reasonable. That's quite reasonable if you got a group.
The ones in Tailgate Terrace is pretty good. We all do have some openings, so I can answer some questions. If people do want to call in for like that, we can answer those questions and get them set up for those tailgate tents, because that's something that we couldn't.
That includes what, tables and chairs? What all do you get?
Yeah, they just get a tent, and we'll have some tables and things for them, but nothing food wise. That's certainly on whomever has that. Tent.
We got our Alabama tickets for years through Dad was a Letterman, so he got Letterman tickets at Alabama. I never thought about it, but it also was open to basketball Letterman and track Letterman, I'm sure. I bet that was a lot of tickets they sold from former players.
A-Club,
A-Club tickets.
So that's what we're
and
trying
that's the way it should be at Troy. Yeah,
I mean,
so we're starting
to
revamp from our Letter Winners Association, which is called the T Club.
Yeah, sure.
So we're really starting to put some more efforts into that, kind of in part with this Letter Winners Day. We want everyone to feel welcome and feel connected to the school that they gave so much to.
No question about it. You know something, a lot of things, and Chase and I have become good friends, and since he's been here, and I'm very impressed with the way he handles things. And of course, I would think that the AD has to be proud of him too, to have a guy with his knowledge as one of his assistants. But you said something earlier, I believe we might have been off the air at the time, that what 1A means. You would have never come here unless it was 1A.
Well, I won't say never, but certainly that's what has elevated Troy to what it is today in people's eyes.
I say 1A in football, and of course you're already 1A in other sports,
But it's been when I was learning more and more about the school before I came down, because I tell you this, I know a lot about college athletics, so I knew my fair share about Troy before I came. But there's still, I'm not going to tell you I knew everything about Troy coming from North Carolina.
Yeah. But you did know about Troy.
We played NC State back in 2015, and I remember when the Troy faithful came in, and it was a pretty good game that night. So I knew a good bit, especially from Larry Blakeney days. Obviously you got DeMarcus Ware,
sure, yeah,
OC, Lawrence Tynes, Leotis. You see these names that get drafted, and then you see Coach Smart, and then the previous coaches from the baseball perspective that were going to regionals. You see that.
See that regional in Athens, the baseball. We went up there, and I went up there by myself and just had a ball. I set up.
You didn't stand like Fort Knight.
I set up a tent and everything. I had everything. We really had a good time. But
so what are we looking at as far as ticket sales compared to last year?
So ticket sales. Excuse me. So ticket sales are pacing right above where we were in 2019 at this time. It's kind of tough to really look at 2020 numbers. So basically, kind of in our department, we've kind of just been looking at a lot of 19 numbers in comparison. Speaking, because that was still a pretty good year too from a ticket standpoint. So we're pacing right above that, which is kind of funny. We're right above where we were year to date in 19. So still a little ways to go with that. We still, like I said, we've got some suites that we wanted to close out for that, as well as some stadium club seats. We just implemented these new ultra lounge chairs sections in the south end zone. If you guys didn't hear about that, it's our ultra lounge. They're for basically what the universal term is loge. Kind of areas what a lot of the athletics, other schools kind of call them loge areas, but it's a lounge. It's 4 seats with a table and an umbrella. There's 8 of them in the south end zone that we have installed right near the Trojan statue. So those are already all sold out, which those were $2,000 a piece.
All right, now wait a minute. Is that the south end or the north
the south end?
Oh boy, that is going to be something. But that alleviates that standing room view of the game, though.
Well, there'll still be some room, but certainly they're right up on the rail.
Oh yeah,
so it's a really good seat.
That's
great.
I hope some of these people that stand around the whole game will go put their fannies in the bleachers. I can't tell you, Chase, how many games I've been to that would have been a full hard sellout.
That's right.
If the dang fans and the tailgate terrace had come in, and the ones that were just wandering the stadium would have gone and sat down for a quarter, so we could get a picture from above.
Right. Well, I think the schedule that we've got.
You get the public address announcement throughout the game to say, "Go sit down."
We want to get a picture of a full
everybody's
stadium.
Standing outside, please come in.
But there are 5,000 people that are at the game that are not sitting down.
For us to at least get a number.
Right. Well, we're hoping that the play on the field will get folks into the seats this year. We feel really, really good about where the program is right now. A lot of returners, some impact transfers that are battling for those positions right now. So there's a lot of depth. There really, really, really is.
Does Troy University have one athlete that's involved in the NIL yet?
There has been a few from a variety of different programs. Nothing from a large scale that you might have seen at other places. But there's been a few because they have to go through our compliance areas to just to show what they've kind of got in communication with to make sure it doesn't go against any of that state of Alabama laws.
Is that something that you would be paid on, like on a every couple of weeks, every month? I mean, how does something like that work?
That would just be determined by whatever that deal might have been with the player, student athlete, with that company or whatever it is. If that's just a one-time, here's $100.
Do you got to go right back to the office after the show, or you got a couple minutes?
I'm going to the office right after this, but yeah, we're perfectly fine. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about I'm going to put a bug in your ear when we're off the air.
Fair. But yeah, I think that just ultimately.
You know what it
depends.
is, Michael? Y'all remember my idea?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I think, but it ultimately just depends on whatever that deal is between both parties. Yeah. But everything does have to be approved through our compliance offices. Every student athlete has to let us know what they've got, hopefully in the hopper.
Yeah. Well, I hope this is not our first visit with you on our show. I tell you, we've learned a lot.
I came maybe back in June or July of last year. I remember.
This guy is good for Troy, I'm telling you.
What about basketball season? When does this start?
So that is going to be early November, like normal, which last year was pushed back, I think, until December. So we will also plan to have another tip-off banquet, which last year was our inaugural one.
Yeah,
so we're still working on a date that really works with the football game, to have it the night before, kind of like we did last year, which was a really good first event just for basketball. Basically, it's kind of a mix between the drawdown and our Hall of Fame ceremony. So. Basketball, that's early November. The non-conference slate has not been officially released just yet, but that's when that will
I feel like I got to go to the game where the flag covers the field. I still talk about that as the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, you mean the football game? Yeah, that was.
So the Liberty game is our Military Appreciation Day. That's September the 11th. Which again, that Liberty is probably going to come in here walking in ranked in the top 20.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a fantastic opportunity for us.
Let's go through it. I mean, I got thoughts on each of these games, why they're all worth going to. Southern, it's the first game of the year. You get
they'll be very athletic.
You get to see your team non-COVID in a big crowd and all these lettermen. So everybody's excited about the first game, to who the quarterback is, and see how your team is. So you definitely want to go to the first game. Liberty, Chase just mentioned it. I mean, everybody knows about Liberty after last year and their coach. So, that ought to be a full stadium. Georgia Southern after that, as far as I'm concerned, that is one of our greatest rivals right there, Georgia Southern.
We owe it to them from last year. So
they had such a dynasty in 1AA and such a good brand, and they're close to us. We recruit against them. That's a rivalry game.
No question about it.
Then you got South Alabama, who is the new big giant we're competing with their fancy new stadium. We've got to stay ahead of South Alabama, and they're a rival. Then Louisiana, which will probably be another top 20, 25 team. That's Louisiana Lafayette in the old days. And then App State, which is the dynasty of the Sun Belt in the last 5 years. I just can't think of a better home schedule. I mean, Southern is a 1AA school, but that's the first game. You want to go see that?
And the great thing about it, we have 6 home games.
Oh yeah, all on Saturday too, no less.
On Saturday, It's gonna be a lot of fun.
We don't play any games this year on Thursday.
We play at Coastal on a Thursday. Before the South game, so we'll have a long week before we play that home game against South. But that's the only game we're currently.
And
right
then
now.
also, I see 4 of them are going to be October, November. So it's not going to be too hot. These last 4 for sure.
And there's a road game at Southern Miss, and also a big game at South Carolina that I'm gonna make sure to be at.
And Coastal Carolina.
I've got a prediction out there already. We're gonna beat South Carolina.
Oh yeah, we can walk in there and win. There's no doubt about that.
Who's gonna be the better team in South Carolina, Coastal or South Carolina?
Well, I like to see if Coastal can back up what they did last year. They've got a lot of good returners for sure. That quarterback's good, and but they'll have the target on their back this year.
They got a billionaire that used to be their coach supporting their program.
Right. Yep.
That helps.
Right.
Yeah. That's one of the great stories. Somebody needs to make a movie about that.
That's not far from where you live, is it?
I grew up going to Myrtle Beach. It's about 2.5 hours, 3 hours from the Pinehurst area. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
they also got an alumni named Dustin Johnson. I wonder if he gives them any money.
I know he's given a good bit back to the golf program. I do know that. They've got a good golf program, too. Yep.
Good. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our good friend Chase Blake is here today and with us, and we're still trying to promote
the drawdown.
Troy University football night this weekend.
Yep, drawdown. If you want to purchase your tickets, feel free to give me a call, 910-690-5466, or if you know Miss Judy, certainly give her a call too. I don't have her number with me right now, but she's been tremendous putting these on. She's probably done it as long as you have.
And an easy way to get up with athletics is to call 670-3000, and then as soon as the recording comes on, hit that 0 button, and you're into the anywhere on campus you want to talk to.
Right.
And
Rice, you got anything?
Well, I'm just thinking we've got so many events going on. The drawdown, that's the first priority.
Yeah.
Then we need to sell this one suite. I mean, we got the 28 great suites. Let's sell them all out. Then we got the new seating areas in the south end zone.
That's very important.
Then we got the.
Well, not to mention, we have Fan Day on August 21st.
Yeah. I was wondering about that. That would be Sunday.
So that's going to be Saturday, August 21st.
Okay.
So basically, going to be kind of what we've typically done before.
Kanaka sausage.
Oh yeah, they'll be out there. We'll be cooking those dogs. We've got a nice group that always does that every year. We couldn't do it last year, so I'm really excited to see what.
So some people have done away. I think Auburn and maybe even Alabama have done away with Fan Day this year, but we haven't. We're going to do Fan Day, and where all the kids can come out. Is that on a Sunday?
It's on a Saturday. We're actually calling it One Troy Weekend because soccer and volleyball also play that weekend.
Yeah,
so we're hoping everyone just wants to kind of come out for that first real weekend of some home games in Troy that we haven't had in 6 months, 5 months.
Boy, that's going to be a big weekend. And again, the Fan Day would start at what time?
I'm not sure the time. I wish I had that right in front of me.
But it's around noon
apologize.
because we're going to have that sausage and hot dogs.
We'll have plenty of stuff going on up there in the tailgate area.
Well, what do you hear about the football team? The buzz you hear about the football team?
We got a good one.
You still got a lot of good transfers that have come in. And
yeah, there's some folks coming in that from the defensive side of the ball. We've got some people in the secondary. We've got some good D linemen. These are we're
gonna be able to substitute on defense.
And these are all from Power 5 schools. I hate throwing out that moniker, but we've got a kid from NC State in the secondary, a linebacker from Michigan, a couple D linemen, one from Florida State,
got a
one
kid
from Maryland.
Florida State,
On offensive side of the ball, we've got a quarterback. So there's a little bit of competition in the quarterback room right now. A kid from Missouri's come in and played really well. And then we've also got a really good story. We have a 7-year Marine Corps vet that was playing junior college ball as a wide receiver. So he's come in. So he's just a fantastic story coming in with that type of that type of.
I need to tell my brother over at the Messenger that
they need
to do a story on this kid.
But he was in the Marines for 7 years, and he's coming in and competing for some wide receiver time. Yeah.
And then, hey, you reckon we ought to honor him with the military week coming up on the second week of the season? Yeah.
And then, not to mention, the running back room is stacked.
Boy, they really do have a lot of running backs.
Yep. Coach has talked about Kamani Vidal, a good bit this off season, so I think he's going to play a good factor. But I mean, you got just a ton of really good players in that running back room, and so there's this challenging schedule, but we're here for it.
Of course, this show is brought to you by Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram trucks on the bypass here in Troy, and of course we appreciate Jason and. I imagine Jason helps you guys out a lot, doesn't it? Jason Gregory.
Oh yeah,
with
he does
Premier, and we appreciate them so very much. Of course, we're going to breakfast this morning. We're going to Birds to have breakfast,
Let's do it.
We're going to eat some cracked eggs this morning from Birds, and you gonna go with us, right?
No, I still got writing
Come on,
projects
right?
to do.
We're talking about bacon and sausage and some good food. Of course, we're gonna be down there, and if you want to come by. And buy your ticket from Chase. You can come by and buy your ticket from Chase.
There you go.
I got to do some writing, and then I've got to pick up my kindergarten son at 11:30 because they're not going full day.
Hey, how long did you have to wait to pick up your daughter yesterday?
I got a little hot under the collar yesterday. I need to apologize.
Well, tell us about it. What happened?
50 minutes. 50 minutes I had to wait.
50 minutes?
On, what is it, Gibb Street or?
On Gibb Street. They've got to do something about that now.
I mean, I understand it's the first day; they'll get better. but
over 1,000 kids go to that school. That's
I had
a
to
big
wait about
school.
an hour to pick up one kid from 12 elementary.
Okay, Blake, we appreciate you, my friend, being on our show,
yes,
and of course, hope you'll come back soon. I tell you, we got a lot of information
we're just spewing out a lot. We got a lot going on.
No question about it.
It's the greatest time of the year.
That drawdown is the best party in town, and it goes to a great cause. And Mike, people. Did you see the story I wrote on Mike that I put on the cover of Troy Life magazine?
I got the magazine in my office right now.
Well, I didn't mention it in that feature story on Mike. Well, he's pretty much started that event, and it's been a grand slam for 40, and all the silent auction items that y'all have that have been so popular. Who used to go get those by himself, every single one of them? this guy, right? And I bet you everybody you asked for one gave it.
That's right. That's right. Even Montgomery, Dothan, other towns help support us. But now something that you need to know, you're going to have some silent auction.
Oh yeah, I've been working hard on getting those, so I'm trying to.
Aren't you to see some of
so
those?
We've got some signed memorabilia from some previous letter winners, DeMarcus Ware, Jarrell Jernigan, some really good bourbon packages, some golf packages, some PCB weekend getaway packages, some.
That sounds great.
Some other golf type stuff.
Have a great day. Stuff. We'll see you tomorrow, bright and early today in LA. See you again also at 1:30.
$29 is all you need. That's right. $29. And you're driving today. Or get payments starting as low as $99 a month during the $29.99 sale. Shop PremierTroy.com and save. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.